What if I told you that somewhere out there right now, ordinary people are waking up to bank accounts worth more than they ever dreamed? Not because they inherited it, not because they built the company, but because they clicked buy on a digital coin that most of the world thought was a joke. Tonight, we pull back the curtain on the wildest financial gold rush since the birth of the internet. This is not the story you think you know. This is the untold story of cryptocurrency millionaires. Bitcoin, a strange, digital experiment launched in 2009 by a mysterious figure calling himself Satoshi Nakamoto. In its first year, 1 Bitcoin was worth less than a penny, and the only people who cared were computer nerds, libertarians, and a handful of futurists shouting into the void about decentralization and digital scarcity. But among them were the early believers. Laszlo Hanyecz, a programmer from Florida, made history though he didn't know it then. On May 22, 2010, he posted on a forum, "I'll give 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas." It happened. 2 large Papa John's pizzas, bought for what would one day be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. People call it the worst trade in crypto history. But here's what most don't know. Without that transaction, Bitcoin might never have been validated as a currency. That pizza, ridiculous as it sounds, sparked the beginning of a financial revolution. For years, Bitcoin crawled along in the shadows. The media mocked it. Banks dismissed it. Governments ignored it. But a small group of individuals refused to let the flame die. They mined Bitcoin in their basements, using garage rigs that overheated their homes. They traded it on tiny forums. They evangelized it to anyone who would listen. People laughed at them until one day, the laughing stopped. 2017. Bitcoin exploded from under $1,000 to nearly $20,000 in a single year. Stories started appearing, stories that sounded like urban legends. A factory worker in Ohio who quietly stacked Bitcoin since 2012 was suddenly worth $6 million. A couple in the Netherlands sold everything they owned, house, car, furniture, and bought Bitcoin. Their friends said they were insane. Within months, they were millionaires living on a beach in Thailand. A 16-year-old in Norway who forgot he bought Bitcoin for a school project logged into his account years later and found it was worth over $800,000. But behind every lucky story, there was also someone who calculated the risk long before the world caught on. Crypto millionaires weren't born in 2017, they were forged. Where there is gold, there are gold thieves, hacks, scams, lost passwords, phishing attacks, rug pulls. The crypto world became a digital Wild West. One man famously lost access to a hard drive holding 7,500 Bitcoin, now worth hundreds of millions, and spent years digging through landfills trying to recover it. Another early adopter mined thousands of coins on his laptop, only for his roommate to accidentally throw the computer away. The same technology that created millionaires also destroyed fortunes in the blink of an eye. Because in crypto, you are your own bank, and sometimes your own worst enemy. 2020, while the world shut down and economies trembled, cryptocurrency roared back to life. Stimulus checks, inflation fears, the rise of DeFi NFTs, and with it came a new generation of millionaires. Teenagers trading Dogecoin on their phones, gamers earning tokens in virtual worlds, artists selling NFTs for millions overnight. In this new digital frontier, wealth wasn't tied to age, education, or geography. All you needed was conviction and sometimes pure luck. I was working at a grocery store, helping customers, stocking shelves. I felt invisible. One night I stumbled onto a crypto forum. People were talking about Ethereum, this new platform where you could build apps on a blockchain. I put in $500. It was everything I had. Jake didn't know what he was doing, but he studied, learned, bought more little by little. When Ethereum shot from $7 to $1,400, Jake's portfolio crossed 7 figures. When I saw the number, I cried. Not because I was rich, but because for the first time in my life, I felt like I had a future. Jake quit the grocery store, bought his parents a house, and today, he teaches financial literacy to teens who grew up like he did, believing wealth was for other people, not them. One of the most fascinating types of crypto millionaire is the HOD layer, a term born from a drunken typo that became gospel. AIODL layer doesn't sell when the market is red, doesn't panic, doesn't flinch. Some early adopters held on to Bitcoin from under $1, all the way to over $60,000. Others rode the gut-wrenching drops 80%, 90%, even more, only to emerge years later with fortunes most people will never see. Were they crazy? Lucky? Brilliant? Maybe a little of all three? Here's the part no one expects. Ask most crypto millionaires what changed their life the most, and they won't say the money. They'll talk about freedom. Freedom from jobs they hated. Freedom from debt. Freedom to travel, explore, create, invest, dream. Crypto didn't just give them wealth. It gave them back time, the one currency we never get more of. The most surprising thing, crypto millionaires don't look like traditional millionaires. They're not wearing suits or sitting in oak-paneled offices. They're students, gamers, college, dropouts, entrepreneurs, immigrants, engineers, artists, teenagers, retirees. Crypto democratized opportunity. It was the first financial system where anyone with an internet connection could participate, and that terrified the establishment. Today, as governments debate, banks strategize, and corporations scramble to catch up, a new generation is quietly building the next era of digital finance. They are the coders behind decentralized apps, the traders in Discord channels at 3 a.m., the innovators reinventing art, money, and ownership. The next crypto millionaires aren't waiting for permission, they're already here hidden in plain sight. So what is the untold story of cryptocurrency millionaires? It's not just luck, it's not just timing, it's not just technology. It's the story of people who dared to believe in a world that didn't exist yet. A world where you don't need a bank to own your money. Where a kid in a bedroom can outturn Wall Street. Where a digital coin can rewrite the rules of global finance. These are the pioneers of a new frontier. The risk-takers, the dreamers, the rebels. Their stories are messy, chaotic, unbelievable. But together, they reveal one truth. The greatest wealth of the 21st century isn't found in dollars. It's found in disruption. This has been the untold story of cryptocurrency millionaires.